Stephen here from CR Kennedy. Today we're just going to run through some of the menus within the 2D system, just a brief overview. We'll start with the very beginning with bucket selection. So the menu button is here, press it in and out quickly and you have your bucket selection. In here, using the up down arrows, you can change your bucket to whichever one you want and to whatever calibrated buckets in there. To exit that, you have two options, just escape or press menu again. To go into the operator menus, press menu and hold. The blue box will come up, that's indicating it's gone through the bucket selection menu and now in the general operator menu where you can start to do some setting changes as required or select some options. Now the arrow key comes into play. By scrolling across, you'll go through various ones, but we'll start at the beginning. System setup. You've got the little enter key now, so to go into a menu, you press enter. This is quite straightforward. You're unlikely to go in here too much because it'll be generalized. So obviously we work in meters. Percent, you may change that perhaps if you're looking for gradient rather than percent. Beeper volumes, all just configuration stuff. Alarm height. Alarm height gives you options to work under a cantilevered building, power lines or something like that, where you can set a tolerance that once you break it, an alarm will sound so you do not hit the structure. And reverse view. Reverse view just will flip your bucket around. As I say, it's just an overview more than anything. We'll move into the next menu. Set up height again, enter. These are the more configuration. Your green band is your on grade. So that's a green band there. There's another green band up here for the tilt. You can go in here and you can select which one you want to do. The green band, dead band, is the width of the on grade that we'll select. So if you're saying this is on grade, 5 millimeters either side of that we'll happily accept as on grade. So that can be increased or decreased as per your requirements. Generally these are set at factory default. Yellow band, that's just where the arrows come into play until when you're starting to come down. A yellow arrow comes in first, then it goes into a red arrow or a green arrow. You can set the parameters from when those arrows start to come into the play. You can see that one saying that once we're within 200 millimeters of the desired surface, that yellow beam will start to come into play. You can have the beeper on or off, and reference offset. You can just pick up the a benchmark on site and have that as a reference if you so desire. Your height detection can be vertical or normal. We leave it traditionally at vertical, and you can see by just touching those arrow keys that makes a change. There's no save or anything extra that needs to be done. Again, you can escape and move through to the next menu, set up bucket. You will go in here because calibration of your bucket is required in this menu. So again, enter. You've got a calibration wizard or you've got a calibrate bucket. You can choose which one. The calibration wizard is going to give you a step-by-step prompting on how to do it. Calibrate bucket is a more quicker way of doing it. Once you're more experienced, perhaps you would use that function rather than the wizard. Tool recognition, that's another option that's not available in this particular system. Bucket reference point, we use generally the keypad to select what side we're going to use. An indicator, or we can have a bucket, or we can have a tilt, or we can have both. And finally the bucket green band, I've already touched on that. That'll also give you the speed on which that band comes into play. Dual slope can be on or off. It'll change the configuration of the screen. You'll have a full screen as opposed to multiple boxes. Measure function. Measure function will allow you to measure parameters set by the machine. So if the machine's bucket is here and you zero it out, so maybe I'll give you a demo. We'll come down here, we will zero that out. We'll then send the bucket up over to there. And now from that point to that point there, we have some information. So we're saying that it's a 42% slope going up. We're saying that it's 350 long, or the distance between here and here is 350 millimeters. And the height change is it's gone above by 150 millimeters. Very handy for various functions. Same thing, we have an escape to leave that menu. If you go out too far, again just press and hold. Same thing, go straight back to that menu. Profiles. Profiles will be touched on at a later date. It's a more advanced setting, and this is a fundamental overview. And the service menu, that's for your service technicians as they come out to do their thing on the system. Finally, again, I'll escape, and we're back to our main screen, and that's your menu structure in the 2D system. I'd encourage you to play and have a good look at the various settings. There's not much really that you can hurt in there, and you'll get more familiar with the whole the power and process that this system has available. And that's the Icon 2D menu structure overview.